forget everything, literally everything you thought you knew about this 2026 Formula One season. I mean, throw it right out the window.
Yeah, completely. Because the reality we are looking at right now is just, it's shocking.
It is a total nightmare. Welcome to DRS Zone, everyone. Today we are looking at what was supposed to be the ultimate dream team, right? Adrian Newey, Fernando Alonso, and Honda.
Right. The absolute gold standard on paper.
Exactly. But instead, they have violently crashed into reality. It's honestly the most catastrophic, unmitigated nightmare in modern Formula One history.
Without a doubt. The panic in the paddock right now is, it's palpable. You can feel it.
Oh, absolutely. And our mission for this deep dive is to aggressively tear right through the raw telemetry, the paddock rumors, and just expose the brutal truth behind this Aston Martin AMR 26, because you are strapped in for a wild ride today.
Oh, it's going to be a bumpy one. Quite literally, if we look at the data.
Very true. And hey, before we start ripping into the numbers, I just need to say this segment is part of our news coverage of recent F1 events.
Right. And honestly, the news here is just grim. Like, really grim.
Yeah, let's just get right into the core failure. Drop the bombshell on them. What are we seeing in this telemetry?
Okay, so the Honda Power Unit disaster. The raw GPS data is showing a massive, gaping deficit of over 50 horsepower.
50.
Yes, over 50. That is more than a 10% loss in power compared to the front runners. In modern F1, a loss of 5 horsepower is a crisis.
Right. People get fired over 10 horsepower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to just survive, just to keep the engine from literally blowing itself to pieces, the team is heavily restricting power.
How heavily?
They're running it only about 75% during qualifying.
Yeah.
And then during the actual race, it dropped to a miserable 50%.
Wait, half power. Are you kidding me?
I wish I was. 50% just to limp to the finish line.
That's not racing. That's bringing a wounded lawnmower to a drag race. I mean, how do you even compete?
You don't. You really don't. And what's worse is the physical toll this is taking on the drivers. The harmonic imbalances in that block are so bad, they're causing violent engine vibrations.
Right. We saw Alonso retire after, what, roughly 30 laps in China?
Yeah, about 30 laps. And his radio messages were terrifying. He described the shaking as feeling like an electrocution.
Electrocution? Like, how does a vibration even feel like that?
Well, the engine is bolted directly to the carbon fiber tub, right? It's a stress member of the chassis. So those high-frequency shock waves travel right up the steering column and into the driver's body.
Oh, wow. So it's vibrating his actual nervous system.
Precisely. It deadens the nerves. When he got out, he couldn't even move his hands or feet. He had lost total sensation.
That's just a lethal hazard at 200 miles an hour. Which honestly brings me to this massive contradiction, because Adrian Newey stood in front of the media recently and claimed they actually have the 5th best chassis.
Yeah, he did say that.
And I'm sitting here screaming at my screen like, are we even looking at the same car here? I mean, is he right? Is it just the engine dragging down a brilliant aero package?
It's a chassis illusion. Plain and simple.
Oh.
If you isolate the GPS data, his claim just brutally falls apart.
Okay, lay it out for us. Break down the numbers.
So on the main straights, the Aston Martin is losing almost a full second to a Williams. Now, Williams is heavy and draggy, so losing a second there is bad.
Right, but you could theoretically blame that on the 50% lawnmower engine.
Exactly. But the absolute nail in the coffin is the corners. In the twisty stuff where aerodynamics and suspension actually matter, the Aston Martin is bleeding a massive 1.2 seconds to a Haas.
A second and a half.
Yeah.
To a Haas in the corners.
Yeah. And engine power means almost nothing at the apex of a corner. If you have the 5th best chassis, you should be making time back on a midfield team there, not hemorrhaging 1.2 seconds.
Wow, so Newey is he's wrong. The aerodynamics are failing too.
Completely. Because the violent engine vibrations are constantly fluctuating the ride height by micromillimeters, it disrupts the air pressure, stalls the floor, and you lose all your grip.
So the engine is basically shaking the aerodynamics to death.
That's a perfect way to put it, yeah.
And nothing highlighted this whole humiliation more than that moment in China. I mean, Sergio Perez driving for the brand new Cadillac team. Right?
Man, that was painful to watch.
He blows past Alonso on the straight so fast, so effortlessly, that Alonso literally takes his hand off the wheel and waves adios, adios from the cockpit.
A 2-time world champion sarcastically waving at a backmarker team passing him. It's incredibly dark comedy.
It is, and it really begs the question, who is actually steering this sinking ship right now because we look up the track and it's total chaos at the factory.
It really is. I mean, Aston Martin has chewed through 3 team principals in just 3 years.
Right. And current boss Mike Crack is basically a ghost. He is completely avoiding the media.
Yeah, which leaves Adrian Newey to give these press conferences,
Right.
which is absurd. Newey is an aerodynamicist, not a PR shield. He should be at his drawing board, not defending engine vibrations to reporters.
Exactly. It shows a complete leadership vacuum. And the rumors in the paddock are wild right now. They're frantically hunting for a new leader.
Yeah, the loudest whisper is Andreas Seidel.
Right, Seidel. But bringing in a new guy takes months. And they do not have months, especially with the sponsors actively panicking.
Oh, the commercial fallout is massive. Major global sponsors are literally freezing their marketing campaigns right now.
Freezing them. You don't just pause a multi-million-dollar ad spend unless you are terrified of the PR disaster.
Think about it. You pay millions to associate your brand with high-tech speed. Not a car that runs at half power, electrocutes its driver, and gets waved past by a Cadillac. It's toxic.
It really is toxic. And we have to talk about the human element here, the drivers. Because Lance Stroll's reaction, man, it was just utterly defeated.
Stroll is usually so guarded with the media, very PR trained.
Yeah, but they asked him about upcoming upgrades, and he just looked dead in the eyes and said, pray with me.
When an F1 driver is asking for divine intervention, you know the engineering has totally failed.
Right. But Alonso's reaction is even more crushing. He got on the radio and told his engineer to stop feeding him lap times. He said, the other cars aren't in our race.
And for a guy with Alonso's psychotic competitive drive, that is chilling. He fights for 14th place like it's a championship.
Yeah.
For him to just resign like that, the car has broken his spirit.
It absolutely has. And they are up against a desperate ticking clock now. The official cancellation of the Bahrain and Saudi Arabia Grand Prix gave them this weird, brief grace period until Suzuka.
Yeah, a gap in the calendar.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. You cannot fix a fundamentally broken aerodynamic platform in 3 weeks.
So what's the actual timeline here? Because Alonso brutally admitted to the press it's going to take 3 to 4 months.
He's totally right. By the time you design a new flooring CAD, run it through the wind tunnel, assuming you even have the cost cap allowance for it, and then manufacture the carbon fiber, you're looking at a 3 to 4 month cycle minimum.
Just to reach the midfield, not even the podium.
Exactly, just to fight with the midfield.
Man, and you look at Alonso's ticking clock here. If this isn't fixed by the summer, he's got a newborn child at home. He might just pack his bags and go home.
If he's risking permanent nerve damage just to fight for 16th place,
Yeah.
he might just walk away to protect his legacy.
It's insane. So bring this all together for us. Give us the historic bottom line here. How bad is this, really?
Well, let's look at the laps. Between Australia and China, Aston Martin logged a pathetic 105 laps total.
105 laps across 2 weekends.
Yeah. And to put that into perspective, the infamous 2015 McLaren Honda, the biggest joke in modern F1 history, they managed 118 laps in their first 2 races.
Oh my God. So they're literally worse than the GP2 engine era.
Worse than that. It's actually the worst mileage start for any team since the 2011 Williams, which only did 87 laps. It is a historic failure.
Wow. Just wow. Listening to all of this, you really have to chew on something. We all thought this project was Fernando Alonso's final shot at glory. But you have to ask yourself, is this catastrophe actually going to be the failure that permanently stains Adrian Newey's untouchable legacy?
That is the multi-million-dollar question. Because right now, his masterpiece is shaking itself to pieces.
It really is. Well, we are going to keep tracking every agonizing factory update, every rumor, and every telemetry drop for you. So make sure you keep your F1 obsession fueled. Follow DRS Zone across all platforms. We are on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Hit that follow button, stay loud, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.